Hey guys, this is just a quick screencast to go along with my blog post about creating sliders on individual pages. So as I said in the blog post, I was working on a client project and he said I want the option of having individual sliders on the page. So for example, I'm presuming if he had a services page, he'd want some kind of individual slider around here. So I thought, as I said in the blog post, I could probably find some kind of plugin to do this, but I thought I want to try something different, so I did. So what I've got here is just a simple installation of WordPress. It's running Genesis, the Genesis theme, and it's also, I'm working with a child theme. I think it's the sample one you can grab from the StudioPress forums. So yeah, I've just gone ahead and installed that and added in some dummy content around here. Now I built this, the functionality of this, using two things. First thing I used was the WordPress Alchemy Metabox PHP class. I've been using this quite a bit recently. I've been using it in my Genesis projects, and I've been using it in quite a bit on my thesis projects as well. And once you get used to it, it's a pretty powerful solution. So yeah, I used that, and I also used a simple jQuery slideshow plugin. It was originally developed by Jonathan Snook, and then browsing through the comments on the site, someone just kind of ported it, or just put everything together and put everything up on GitHub. So I used this one as well, and there's a quick demo of what it looks like. It's a really lightweight jQuery slider. If I just go into the actual code itself, it's only 23 lines, and it fits the what I needed pretty well. Okay, so go ahead and download the WordPress Alchemy class and the jQuery slideshow and extract them to your hard drive. So on the left here, I've got this is basically my WordPress installation over here. This is the extracted slider code, these three files. This slides folder I put in there myself just for a moment to hold the actual slides I'll be using for this screencast. And this is the extracted WordPress Alchemy file. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go into my WordPress content themes directory. WordPress content directory, I mean. And to install WordPress Alchemy, you can see a WordPress content folder when you extract that. If you go into that, then you simply copy the WPAlchemy folder into your WordPress content directory. Then go into your themes and into your child theme if you're using that. And then in your themes, you'll see a corresponding metaboxes folder. So you place that in there, like so. And then your functions file is simply including every one of the files in the metaboxes directory, which are these. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not going to open this up because I've already gone ahead and I'm including the ones that I want to include in here. So basically, if I go into my themes, Axel, and then metaboxes, I'm including the metabox/setup.php file, which is basically setting everything up, and I'm including metaboxes /simplespec.php, and this is what basically defines your metabox in the administration panel. So this is called _custom meta. I'm gonna go ahead and grab something that I used before, so I'm just going to replace this. So I'm giving the metabox an ID of _content-slider. I'm giving the box a title that you'll be able to see called image slider, and I'm basically saying I want to include the simple meta file. If you go back to the WordPress Alchemy website, they've got it's basically got a video there showing you how to install this as well and how to use it. So this is simply calling this file over here, and this is what's actually going to show up inside the metabox itself. So if I just save this and save that as well, if I go back into my administration panel pages and just click on a random page and scroll down, you can see this is the box that we've just defined. And if I go back into here, so you've got a title and a description with 2 input elements, and there you go, there. For the purpose of this, I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm just going to close that down. I can close those because I don't need them anymore. Okay, so this is what I want to show up in my meta box. I've simply given this little introduction, just saying if you want to use a slider, blah blah blah, this is what you've got to do. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is creating some kind of drop-down list. Now I could probably use a checkbox or radio button, but I thought for the purpose of this I'd just use a drop-down list. And this is just basically there to serve the purpose of, do you want to show a slider on this page, yes or no? If you select yes, then we can use that then to use conditional statements to generate the code we need. No, and nothing will be displayed. Then for the purpose of this project I was working on, the client wanted a maximum of 4 images, to be used as in the slider itself. So I'm generating 4 fields with a field got image 1, image 2, image 3, and image 4. If this looks a bit complicated, or if you haven't seen anything like this before, I recommend you go back and have a read through the WordPress Alchemy page here. It's a pretty detailed guide, basically showing you how to use it, going all the way down. And I'd read through the comments as well, because there's some pretty handy information to be gleaned from there as well. So I'm just going to save that. This is the code I've just written now. And if I go back into my administration panel and scroll down, as you can see, everything displays here. If you wanted to, you could go one step further and add your own custom styles to this. But for the purpose of this, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. Okay, so now that that is done, I'm going to go ahead and just upload the images quite quickly. So the beauty of this meta box is anything I upload here, so if I paste 4 details in here, then these 4 details here will be linked to this page only. So I'm going to go back out of that and just grab something quickly like clients, for example. Now you can host the images wherever you want, but I prefer just hosting them using the WordPress Media Manager. So I'm just going to go to my slider folder, slides, and include these 4 images. Now I've named these slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, so it's pretty handy just to reference. It's pretty handy. What I mean to say is, I don't have to copy the 4 because they've got pretty complicated file names. I can just go and then change this to 1, 2, but you can use whatever naming convention you want. And yes, I will want to show the slider. So if I click update there now, it saves these details for this actual page, and if I go into another page, for example back to the about page, there's nothing there, which is good. Back to my old pages. Okay, so next step, go back here. So we haven't written any code yet to display the slider or anything like that. Nothing's going to show. I'm just going to make sure, check one thing. Using Firebug, I want to find out what the width of the content area is. So div ID content, and the width is 640 pixels. So if I go back in, I can close that. I can close that because I don't need these anymore. So I can go with 640 pixels because this is the actual width of the content area, and my sliders are about 220 pixels high. So I'm just going to change that details down here quickly as well. 640 and 220 pixels. Now this piece of code here is given to you on the GitHub page down here, so I have a quick read over that as well. So once that is saved, you can go on to actually writing the code itself now. Okay, so with WordPress Alchemy, I've obviously had to include these files here. The second step I want to do is go back, create a new folder called lib, new folder called JS, and then I am simply going to copy the slider that we downloaded earlier into this directory here, like so. Now using the enqueue, onqueue, forgive my Welsh accent, I can't pronounce that properly. I'm gonna excuse me. gonna properly load the script now. So it's just basically using the enqueue script function. So basically it's pointing towards the lib/js folder we created and including that. So if I save that and I reload the site and I view source, so you can see jQuery. Has that been included? No, it hasn't, because I did not comment that out. Okay, so I'm hooking that in. So refresh that and look at the page source. jQuery has been included, and I look at the bottom here, and the file that I've just put in the JS directory has also been included, which is good. Okay, so the third step is to actually display the two steps actually. First thing I want to do is, I'll just delete that and lock this in. Okay, basically I want this script to fire on a page, so I'm using the conditional PHP, or the WordPress conditional if is page, which is basically telling WordPress if this is a page, then do this. Now these two lines here are relevant to WordPress Alchemy and to basically grab the meta values. So basically declaring the custom meta box as a global value and then calling this function here. Now if you remember back into simple meta.php that I created, I used the option value yes and no. I'm basically say here if the value of show slider, which is this here, is equal to yes, just basically saying if I want the slider to display, then I want to echo this code out in the WordPress header. It's just basically kicking off the slider itself. So I'll just save that. So I'm basically saying, recap this, if it is a page and that the slider drop down is selected as yes, then print this code out, otherwise don't do anything. The second function I've written, I'll just uncomment that out, is actually calling the slider itself. So I'm basically hooking this in just before the post content and after the title, but before the first paragraph. So I'm again declaring this in this function here. These two related to WordPress Alchemy are saying if, and again I'm using the if statement here to make sure that the show slider field is equal to yes. This is pretty handy because if it's set to no, then this won't be echoed out in the code at all. So I'm basically saying, wrapping it in this div and then the noded list, and then saying custom meta box devalue image1, which is basically referring to the value that we pasted in here, so that this will be slider image 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's just basically it. I'm just calling this out. And because I've got a fixed number of slides, I can just go 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I didn't know what they were, I could probably use some kind of for loop or something like that, or while loop, but for the purposes of this, I know how much slides are going to be used. So if I just click back on home quickly, everything's loading fine. Click the about page, because we didn't enter anything here, there is nothing here. So about and entry content, you can see nothing's being echoed here. If I go into the clients, it's calling out these images and it's actually displaying the slider on a per page basis. As you can see, I'll look at the source again, and it's basically echoing out everything that I put up here. Again, if I go into the contact, nothing's being shown here. If I go back into the clients page, and here, and I select no, I do not want to show the slider, and I click the update page, if I refresh, then the slider doesn't get shown, and nothing gets printed out in the source code either. So let's turn that back on. And refresh to make sure that is working. Yep, and there you have it. That is basically how I created a per page slider. The beauty here, if I go back in and just to make sure that it is actually working itself, I'll just go back to the about page and I'll just see if this will work here as well. So if I just quickly go back, all pages, just copy the values from the client pages quickly. Okay, back again. So we were on the about page, just to make sure that everything is working. Yes, I'm going to show the slider. Paste these in here, and just to make things a little bit different, go 1, 2, 1. I'll just go 3 and 4 again. Don't do anything, that might make me look stupid. I click update. So if I go into the about page, the slider will show up here as well. And that is basically how I created the per page slider basis. And I'm sure there's a cleaner way or a better way of doing it, but this is what I came up with, and I'm pretty happy with what I did. You could do this on any kind of WordPress theme you're working with. It's just that I was working with Genesis to start with. And yeah, if you've got any comments, questions, or queries about what I've done, let me know in the comments below, or let me know on Twitter. Cheers, guys.